79T 2458 Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take one.
40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone. Does that make sense?
Where they say there are Indian people pooping on our beach.
It's a spool of wire. 40 years of my life is in the wire that's gone.
Hi, I'm Kurt Vonnegut. I'm looking for
Ryan Stone.
What's that? Fuck me. Hey, Kurt, you read lips. Fuck you!
All right, it's enough of that. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, fellas. Hey, it's Red Morning. How's it going? Hope you got your coffee. Hope you got your workouts in. I cannot believe it. I promise it's the only rant I'm going to do. There was cows on the 401 yesterday running down the street. And I was like, can we stop being Indian? The last time I saw cows running down the street was when I was visiting Chennai, India back in the 2000s. And I got nothing. Watching a bunch of Brampton police officers chasing cows on the highway, and I was just going, man. Now, in fairness, when I was a kid, we would chase our cows up into the mountain range every year. So they had to have a brief period on there. But that was like a cattle run. It wasn't just random cows running around. Anyway, it got me thinking, how dystopic is this? And, you know what? Let's get this one a little lighter. Whatever. I was just going to sit here and rant about Canada, and it's like, stop, he's already dead. Good things, though. I got some gifts in the mail. First one, Uncommon Testosterone. It's the follow-up book. Dr. Thomas Seeger, PhD. If you're into like the cold baths, he has those immersion baths, like the Joe Rogan thing. It's kind of similar to like the red light stuff. I think it's for you. If you're the kind of person who likes to really get into the nitty gritty of stuff, like if you're the guy who actually read the white papers on Bitcoin when you got into Bitcoin, or if you're the guy who actually read into the research behind keto diets before you started going keto, it's that for ice baths. It's not an easy read. Like, I am not a scientifically literate person, so when I look at some of the stuff and when he gets into some of the charts and that, like, it's made to be readable. But at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, okay, sure. So if you're one of those autist guys in there, you're going to probably like it. The second one I got, it's actually, this one's more of like a red pill one. It's from Gif Lasta, The Way of Men with Maids. Forgotten Christian Wisdom on Becoming a Man Who Wins at Love. I just got this, so I haven't had a chance to read it through yet, but I've kind of skimmed so far and like read a chapter. It's a light book. It's not like heavy reading. It's fairly easy. It is like, you can tell it is a Christian man who has like read Rational Male and possibly even my stuff. Like, you get it. It's if you're into like reading the red pill nonfiction stuff out there, like Practical Female Psychology and that, you're probably going to find it a little bit too simple. But I'm pretty sure it's geared towards the kind of person who's in a very lackluster Christian marriage and feels ashamed that he's even allowed to feel like despondent about things. And so it's very easy. It's very simple. It's like, hey, use some folksy wisdom, a little bit of preachiness. Here's some things to think about. It's very sugar coated, but I have a feeling the kind of audience that's for would probably like it. So interesting. Oh, I read the Bitcoin white paper. I just didn't understand it. I mean, I got the gist of it, but in fairness, I have like had to do a bunch of cryptography training when I was in the military when we were dealing with cryptography. And while I can't do the mathematics, I at least understand the mathematics of like asynchronous encryption. And here's a weird thing. So this is like off topic, nothing to do with nothing. In the military, it has a different type of encryption. They use synchronous encryption. In other words, it's the same key to encrypt and decrypt the message. And the entire security of it is geared towards maintaining access controls for the keys and reducing their what's the term called again? Their window of use. There's a word for it. I cannot remember it right now for the life of me. And it would all depend on however strong the encryption is. So for encryptions that are very strong, they would have a larger period that they were useful for. There was dailies, there was monthlies, there was yearlies. Some were NATO, some were allied, some were Canadian only, some were American. And you could layer them too. Like sometimes you would have a box with a yearly encryption that has messages going out with daily encryptions on it, like the Rat Ship Shore broadcast or whatever. And so it always worked that way. And it was effective. But then you see this asynchronous encryption, which is what our computers use, where the key to lock a message or encrypt a message is a different key than the one to unencrypt a message. The idea being, and then for both of them, it still serves the same purpose. It's however long it takes to reverse engineer. That's your useful period. But yeah, so watching the Bitcoin and the blockchain essentially work like that. It's a public ledger, and then they create an encryption. This is like very oversimplified to the point of being wrong, but they create an asynchronous encryption, but they start with they start backwards, or they start at the end and work backwards. So that's why it takes so much computational power to get there. Least durations. See, that's not the word, but I'm pretty sure that would be more of the civilian term for it. Least durations. I like that. But yeah, you get it. Anyways, everything's got... And I guess the lead-in for this is, dude, like, I'm in a book mood right now. I've finally finished my manuscript. I sent it off to Nick. And I've been reading more. I've been trying to read more. I can't, man. You know how I always start my own Ryan videos with... I can't watch new movies anymore, which is true. If I have to watch Kevin Hart and The Rock argue with Chris Evans and Ryan Reynolds one more fucking time, I'm gonna shoot myself. You know what I mean? I can't stand this shit. And because there's always something I could be doing, some work I could be doing. I actually had like making the work watching movies, so I haven't watched 3 Days of the Condor in years. And then finally, I got to do it on a Ryan channel. I better get back into it. Highlander 2, which, by the way, we're going to switch over and talk about that on the other channel. Highlander 2, The Quickening. I am a deceptively large Highlander 2 enjoyer. I don't agree with the hate it's gotten, and I think they actually could solve the Marvel MCU problem with the direction that Highlander 2 or Gremlins 2 took, to be honest. I think continuity is bullshit. Oh, look at this, Leon. You know he's a cinephile when he calls it Leon, because in America they just called it The Professional. Yeah, I'm kidding. I get a bit of gist, but the math behind elliptic curves, no chance. Yeah, and it's kind of like you're reading it like as a new language. From what I've told mathematicians, they talk about math the way you would talk about when you're learning French, and then when somebody speaks French, how can they just speak fluently? Yeah, I watched Born Identity, Supremacy, and Ultimatum again. Good film. Shame about the director Paul Greengrass whipping the camera around. That does let them down a bit. You don't think it aged? I don't mind it. It's. I mean, eventually I'm going to get there too, because I have like the spy thriller subgenre on the channel. But there's a place for it. I just don't think it was worth making it the only place for it, you know? Anyway, so we're on a Red Pill channel. And we're talking about red pill things, and then obviously stories are going to come up a lot. And yeah, I got a book to. I don't have a book to shill yet. It's just off at the editors right now. But I've been foodling around with the covers, and I think I got where I'm going with it. It's going to be fun. But I've realized it's just. You know how I tell you guys there hasn't been anything new in the red pill since 2015. It's because there's not. There really isn't. Nobody's out there trying shit anymore. Everybody's just marketing. I was just thinking about that. Rolo and I, we were chilling in Florida, and it came up again. There's the ideas people, there's money people, and there's sales people. 3 different types of people. And you kind of need them all to make things work. And technically, if you're a creative person, you can be a creative marketer. You can be a marketing guy who's got some creativity. You can be a guy with money who can market all right. But you can't be all three. You generally have to be one or the other. I'm generally a creative sort. Rolo's generally a creative type. What's his face on his show? Definitely the marketing guy. MLD John, definitely marketing guy. Rich Cooper, definitely money guy. But you know what I mean? It's deceptively easy to lump people into which category they're in. Which kind of gets me then. It just means there's no creative people in here at all. There's no moneyed people in here, but it's the internet. Nobody's got money. Nobody's got money to invest in the things. And in fairness, I don't ever agree with there's this whole conservative thing where they like to whine about how nobody funds conservative art anymore. It's always liberal bullshit. And I'm going, well, let's put it this way. Let's say you're a book writer. Let's say you got a book, and let's say it's good. It's good enough that somebody wants to invest in you. It's like, yeah, I think you got talent. I think you got chops. What are they going to do? Amazon pretty much lets you do the entire process yourself. What, are they going to market for you? Well, that's nice. How much is that going to cost you? I guarantee you it costs you as much as the traditional publishing houses. So when I see people talking about that, more patronage, what they're essentially asking is for fucking welfare. I want welfare so I can fuck around with my fantasy novel with gothic undertones. It's like, oh, good. We had a shortage of people LARPing Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Bought a physical copy of They Live. That's where I'm at with movies. Oh, Jesus Christ, man. You're my goddamn hero. That is honestly... Here, I'm trying to get a better spacing of this because I'm clipping. I'm trying to be quieter, but it's hard. Or maybe that's the key. Maybe just shut the fuck up. Yeah, They Live. It's one of those movies that it didn't get the appreciation it deserved. But god damn was it good. Like, really good. It had the satire on point, and it did... There's this thing they did in the 80s where even though it was satire and dystopic, they put characters of like extreme charisma and optimism in there, which I just loved. That's Running Man. You watch Ben Richards on The Running Man, he oozes charisma. And what's her face, the chick? Oozes charisma. You watch Highlander too. The world is basically gone to hell. The environment is crashed and aliens are running over the earth, all that stuff. Who do they got in there? Sean Connery throwing some riz on a drunk chick on an airplane. They got Christopher Lambert sleeping with the terrorists. Even Michael Ironside, he like cracks a dude's spine in 5 places. You're like, man, I want to have his babies. Yeah, it's never coming back. I get that. The national spirit is buck broken. You don't see that crap anymore. Anyways, I'm off topic here. The point is, the reason there's nothing new is because people who do things aren't here. I don't know where they are, to be honest. I don't know where they are at all. I don't know what they're doing. I'm in here, and it's... I'm not going to say I'm Hemingway. I'm definitely not, but it's crazy how well I seem to be doing because it's graded on a curve. And I'm pretty sure every single one of you... Dude, Jack, English is a second language. Also a bit of a dummy, bit of a bimbo, but look at him. He's got a book coming out. He's doing his thing. His Substack is growing like hell. Nuclear Juadio. What does Cat Bees always call him? The 85 IQ Dominican. He's doing it. He's crushing it too. His Substack is out there doing well. He's topping the charts. And it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder how much of this stuff is just because people aren't. Like how much thing is out there for the taking. But it's just no takers. I got caught up listening to Red Evening, almost forgot about Red Morning. How could you forget about Red Morning? This is the original. Red Evening started after Red Morning. What's the other one? They have Red Evening, there's Red Morning. I know there's like 2 more. I should remember. But yeah, I woke up and chose violence. I didn't even choose violence. Violence chose me. Now, this is not my way of telling you guys, I'm writing a book, you should write a book. There's tons of things to do. Like, just for pickup alone. If you want to go the old school stuff, just be a pickup guy. Just going and flirting and rizzing. With the way, like, I am not going to be shilling an Instagram, how to pick up chicks off an Instagram course. I think that's run its course. I think the how to pick up chicks on Tinder has run its course. I think that how to pick up chicks on Hinge has run its course. They have the same issues that social media and dating sites have always had. A little history lesson for you. When it first started, I believe, and you guys have corrected me in the chat before, it started with Match.com. You know, pay some money, get on a date. Didn't do so hot. Eventually morphed into OkCupid. Or no, Plenty of Fish, which was like Craigslist for dick. OkCupid. And then from OkCupid, there was like a whole bunch of like smaller ones too, like High Five, Singles, a couple other ones, whatever. Facebook, even for a time, was basically a dating app. The beauty of the poke. And then Tinder came around, kind of became the behemoth, monopolized the area, and then they started making brand varieties. They made Coke, Cherry Coke and Vanilla Coke. That's why there was Grindr and Hinge. So there's Tinder for I want to low-key have some sex without my friends finding out. And then there was Hinge. It's like, yeah, I want that same thing, but I'm a bit of a neurotic mess, so I want to message the man first. And then there was Grindr. Same thing, but I want butts. And I think there's another one coming out that's like based on your religion. Like there's one for Christians, there's one for synagogues, there's one for Muslims, I think. And you just realize it's fully monetized to the point that cereal or Coca-Cola, got peach Coke, got apple Coke. You got the new fountains at the movie theater where you like type the Coke that you want and you push the flavor you want and it gives you the exact specific Coke you want. And it's kind of the way all internet and all business goes, because the reason that Match.com moved on was because there's a curve, there's a life cycle to dating online. It starts with the early adopters, and that is sexually promiscuous people, that's attractive people, generally top of the bell curve people. So they get in, they enjoy it, like this is great. I still remember I was on Ship, and my boss, Johnny Five, which I thought they called him that because of the robot from the movie, but no, they called him that because he scored 5 home runs in a single game during like a military baseball game, which, whatever. Probably the most animated Frenchman I've ever seen in my life. 5 ex-wives, you know, typical Quebecer. And he's like, oh, it's great. You just email that thing, and it's like, she comes over and just blows you, and it's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. Is this site really that good? So I went home, and I took a look, and I tried it out. I was like, I was like, holy cow, you can talk to girls, and then they just come and decide to meet up. Like, this is insane. Anyways, what'll happen then is after that, word of mouth starts to get out, people start to get over there, and then the desperate start to show up, and that's where it takes a turn. Because all those attractive, promiscuous people all of a sudden start seeing mids show up, uggers showing up, the tattooed people, and heaven forbid the Indians find your site, because, oh, it's done. And I know this sounds racist. I'm not being racist. There was a PhD study in University of Toronto about this, and I know I don't reference studies usually, but this was a qual study, and I think it was good, where they talked about the death of pickup, and the whole pickup artist industry all died off because of mass immigration of the Southeastern Asian continent to Canada. They flooded the market, completely scared off the talent, and then the industry just died. So same thing kind of there. Which isn't the most interesting part of this. The Match.com lasted like a couple years, and then Plenty of Fish, couple years, OkCupid, couple of years, Tinder was like 2 years, and then everything else. But the issue is now that the life cycle is accelerating because people are getting very good at arbitrage. Whether it's your how to pick up hot blondes course on Gumroad that you're finding. Oh, that's right. There is one that's just for farmers and Adult Friend Finder and that. So the arbitrage. And the arbitrage is the taking advantage of the disparity between two separate markets of a same good. So if you're on Tinder and then Hinge, only new people are on Hinge, you can go over to Hinge and take advantage of, it's like new, it's only early adopters, same market, completely different, separated market, and you're taking advantage of it. I mean, it's technically not. It's arbitrage, right? As far as this is concerned. I know it's not a perfect correlation because we're not buying things, but you kind of are. So yeah, now they're going faster. And then on top of that, you get like Ashley Madison, which ends up being just flat out scams. If this doesn't sound like Bitcoin's tragic rise and fall and rise again from the ashes, I don't know what to tell you. I still laugh to this day, man. The Ashley Madison leaks, it's the most untalked about, amazingly major story in the history of the world. It's just lying there. Nobody touches it. They cracked it, and the first thing they found out is that there was no fucking women on Ashley Madison. It was already like a 20 to 80 split between men and women on there. And of the 20% of women, most of them were bots. Most of them were bots. And of the ones that weren't bots, those ones were prostitutes. So it was like it was made to be like, hey, swingers, Uber swinger, Uber key party. No. It's the most convoluted prostitution and bot site you've ever seen in your life. And so many gems came out of that leak. So many gems. My old blog, which I've taken down, it's completely ill. I couldn't believe people read it. I'm like, dude, I read them like, what the fuck was I saying? I don't remember half my shit, but the one I do remember was finding out that you'd get the email list, and they found a whole lot of gc.ca email accounts, which you guys don't know is the Government of Canada accounts and military government accounts. What were those ones? What was the military? Forces.ca or forces.ca and gc.ca. And something like 80-90% of the accounts for Ashley Madison made in Canada were centered in Ottawa. Anybody who wanted to sleep around on their wife was part of the federal government. And I'm just going, dude, nowadays, I could probably do well by Canadian standards to do a video on this. It's just insane. You see what I mean? There is amazing stories just lying there for the taking. There is a crazy story. You could do 2 hours of Fresh and Fit just talking about this, but you don't want that. Just yell at the hose, would you? Just stop pretending. Rolo could probably do a 4-hour Ottawa Represents from Donald DeMarco. Yeah, no one could trust chats these days. Dating sites will be offering AI filtering soon if there isn't already. They absolutely will. Which is interesting because it's kind of one of those, it sounds good, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to kill dating sites. Because they don't understand the human, like, facilitating human interaction is their entire business model. They think it's trying to help women get laid low-key, but it's not. It's about human interaction facilitation. It's literally when the Christians would have the dance in the barn, and they put the guys on one side, the girls on the other, and they have them walk up to each other and start talking. It's like that with the internet. And the day they lose sight of that and decide, no, we'll have the two AIs talk and get you together, you just realize you're putting drag in front of the interaction. And then people are eventually going to learn and move on.
You can choose your misery with some pretty girl that, whatever, that you just... And I honestly find it
if your man
interesting
is
for you to say
seeking,
smart.
it's probably because you're not satisfying your man.
Right, so exactly. Do not discredit intelligence of others. Please do not use that word.
But marrying or committing to? No, absolutely not. My son will, marry an accountant. Not one of my sons would I allow to even date one of you girls. Because you don't shut up. It has been fun. It has been an honor. We're going hiking.
Yes. How could you not love Aaron Clary? Even though he's a fucking nerd and his movie studio or his studio in his house is just a Zoom meeting. How could you not like that guy? AI is already killing OnlyFans models. Yeah. You know, it's funny they always said that. It's like, oh, this will get the girls acting right. It doesn't. It just makes them destitute. But here's the thing. There's stories like this everywhere. Even like watching Rolo and Frank Servey. Watching he and Frank Servey talk together, they have decided to latch on to this school teacher diddling the kids meme, and it's been going on for years. I find it absolutely wonderful. It's hilarious. Every single one of those stories, by the way, there is a story in there. There is a YouTube video. If you're a YouTuber, you don't have to do the 567th version of the Roanoke sailing, or the flight where the guy jumped out of the plane in Portland, or any of the other 50 stories that every YouTuber does. You don't have to rant about Kathleen Kennedy ruining Star Wars. Just go to any one of those. Any one of those teacher diddlers. There's so many angles you can take with it too. You can keep the genders out of it, start telling the story, get people riled up, and then watch the fireworks go off, and you mention, oh, by the way, the diddler is named Susan. And you're like, oh, well, in that case, I was looking at this one. Thanks, I hit it. Dog walker drinking game. Drink every time. I checked the Seamaster, or I'm better than that, John. Love the book. Great work. Thank you very much, sir. There's actually a reason for that. So him checking the Seamaster religiously is about his, it's literally, if you don't know, the Swiss watch. I talk about that on the Red Pill all the time, where the guy thinks as long as he treats his woman like a Swiss watch, if he puts the right gear in the right place and does the right thing and puts it all together just perfectly, then he'll have a perfect life. And I thought, what a wonderful way to represent that, because I'm a big fan of Seamasters. I'm like, I'll give him a watch. He got it on his sailing trip. The idea is he had to work for it, he had to earn it, he had to put it together, and then every time he's screwing things up with a girl, he's always religiously checking his watch, making sure the time's good, making sure he can balance his military time, making sure he can balance his real time, takes himself out of the moment. Like, he could be out, literally fooling around with a girl, and he's checking his time and thinking about work, and he's not in the moment of what he said was his entire purpose of being there. Like, if you're there to get laid and he's thinking about anything else but while, it was interesting. I hope people caught the intention of that one. Because I have my one negative review where the guy's like, oh, he's just talking about watches and blankets. Fuck this guy. I like the ones where the female teacher says the student was so persuasive. Yeah. Like, there's so many things you can... And you need stories. I've talked about stories forever. You guys may think it's just, oh, now that you're doing books, you're talking about this. No, man. If you go back into my catalog, there is a Red Pilled Coffee from 6-7 years ago. Like, it was one of my first. It was about telling better stories. And the idea was the reason that pickup was such a good thing for young men who weren't experienced in dating is that it taught you to be a good storyteller. And good storytelling is what can seduce a girl. It's what can sell a book. It's what can buy a house. It can entertain an audience. It's what I'm technically doing to you right now. What is a podcast? Oh, it's a conversation. Yeah, there's a conversation, but even if there's not a conversation, it's essentially a 2-hour story. It ebbs, it flows, it meanders, it goes in, it goes out, has a topic. Sometimes it's just gossip and babble, in which case it's a really shitty podcast, and I am surprised how many really popular podcasts are just somebody ranting about gossip. Did you see this person? Fuck that guy. See this guy? I know, right? Uh-huh. There was a top 100 podcast. I can't remember if it was Podcast in Canada or Podcast Total. And it was for men. Top 100 podcasts for men. And of course it starts with like Jordan Peterson, Jocko Willink, Lex Friedman, and Sam, what's that Golden Girls kid? The Horseman of the Apocalypse guy. And then the rest of it was like the What Up Man podcast, that this and that and the other. I listened to one. I'm like, all right, let's see what the competition is out there. And the guy was trying to get through a sentence. It was fucking hard. I just, yeah, I know, man, totally right. And I was just like, what the fuck are they talking about? And he sounded like he was smoking pot. And I'm going, this is the top 100th podcast for men. It was like number 32, which isn't 10, but it's not 100. Yeah, modern wisdom, all that stuff. No, Sam Hyde didn't make the list. I kind of knew it was bullshit. In fairness, Sam Hyde's kind of got a very unique thing. He's got his 2 shows. There's the one with just him and his buddy, and then there's the one with him staring into the camera with all the funky angles where he rants on India. Which, to be fair, I've taken some inspiration from that. He's got a production quality from it that I do enjoy, and he also has a delivery. It has a more cinematic delivery to it. It's almost like he's reading it off a teleprompter, but I kind of doubt he's got hour-long scripts that he's pulling out every week on this one. But who knows? He's got a staff. And that $1 Million Extreme or whatever his show was called, I mean, it did well. And it was like pretty good sketch comedy. It was the edgiest sketch comedy of the 2010s. How could you not like it? I still remember that stupid sketch he had where it was somebody was making fun of a guy's wife. Or no, he knocked a guy's wife into the glass coffee table and she was bleeding everywhere. And he's like, did you just do that to my wife? It's like, no, man, I didn't do that. I just watched you do it. And it was just being gaslit into like, I didn't knock your wife through a plate glass table. And she's bleeding out. It's like, oh, okay then. Sure. My bad. It was such a weird fucking thing. Yeah, Tom Segura. Fucking Nepo baby. I didn't know Tom Segura's parents were like Goldman Sachs Nepo babies funding his stuff. And I've watched his comedy. And I was so irritated. I don't like either of those guys. The bear guys. Like, what's the one? Tom Segura. He's always got his shirt off. Anyways, whatever. So I watched the first one, and he normally is like, and I watched this TV show, and you would be surprised that this actually happened to it. And I'm like, this is some weird, and I know it's cliche to say, this is some smug, woke bullshit. It kind of had that smug, liberal, I watch things, I cannot believe I'm where I'm at. It was such a millennial-coded sense of humor. It's like you turn to the camera halfway through your sketch, go, wow, this is actually happening. It's like, fuck you. And then the shirt off guy, he's just kind of, he plays he's not a comedian. He's that drunk uncle that everybody tells he's like, don't encourage him. Yeah, Bert Kreischer, that's the guy. He even had a movie. My girl made me watch his movie, and it reminded me of like the Carrot Top movie. It was a vessel to increase the brand recognition of a comedian. But I mean, and that's what I mean. Like comedians are storytellers. Who are the best comedians right now? It's like Dave Chappelle. I want to say, damn it, can't mention Star Wars Boy anymore because he's kind of jumped the shark. But who's the kid? Why can I not remember? He's the one that always does the. I'm actually a fan of his too. For some reason, I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, this is a Zoomer kid. He just did his first Netflix special. And it was just funny because he was so worried that his whole gimmick was hot chicks and crowd work. So he did like a 20-minute section of his sketch just about jerking off to his dad's porn. And I was like, oh yeah, that's the way to win back the guys. It was pretty good. Matt Rife, thank you. So you got your Matt Rifes. You got new ones coming up, and they're going to be there. But yeah, the Bert Kreischers and the other guys, like even the... Yeah, you know what? This is a weird hole where I'm just kind of showing how the old guard got really unfunny really fast. Kind of reminded me of the 80s. Like, I remember a bit about the 80s. For the most part, I watched the 80s in the 90s, so I got to see it with a little bit of hindsight, but at the time... Oh yeah, the shows are good. But at the time, you would watch, like, some of the biggest comedians. There was Andrew Dice Clay. There was Yakov Smirnoff. There was Gallagher. And they were all gimmicks, right? Like... Yakov Smirnoff was like, I just moved here from Russia, and this is amazing. And it was great, but then the Berlin Wall fell, and he's like, oh, I don't have a job. America's crazy. Gallagher was just like sitting on a big thing, smashing watermelons, and it was very funny, or like he was prop humor, but he was like a shittier version of Carrot Top, which you're like, what? Yeah, there's a GoBot Carrot Top. I don't know what to tell you. But you go back and you watch them now, and like Andrew Dice Clay, he was the biggest deal ever. He was the Guns N' Roses of comedians in the 80s. And you watch it now and it's like, where's the fucking jokes? Where's the stories? It's like his whole gimmick was, hey, I'm loud and I can cuss and I hate women and fuck your dad. And everybody's like, this is the best time of my life. It's 1984. We ain't never dying. And I realized like the Bert Kreischers, that's going to be the 2010s Andrew Dice Clay. Oh, is this the one where he takes off his shirt again and starts screaming like a drunk? All right. Oh, is this the one where he watched a TV show on Netflix and he has some snarky comeback about it? Great. Oh, yes. Dangerfield was dope. But Dangerfield's a 70s comic. there was like a brief period where like comedians were just something else, like the Richard Pryor, the Rodney Dangerfields. Carlin, he has his moments, but it's more so he's clever, not funny. He's kind of got a Jon Stewartish way that way. But yeah, if you haven't watched Richard Pryor's Live on the Sunset Strip, I would say it's probably the funniest comedian special. If not the funniest, definitely in the top 3. Because you'll watch it, and then you'll watch like Eddie Murphy stuff, and you realize, oh, he just ripped off Richard Pryor. It's like, yeah. But Richard was better. Like, he had stories, like, because Eddie didn't really do much before he had comedy. Richard Pryor was doing comedy clubs, like with mafia-owned comedy clubs in the 50s. He was doing, I mean, he lit himself on fire. He was like a meth head for a while, or crackhead or whatever. He used to hang out with like Sammy Davis Jr. Like, he had some shit behind him, which was pretty cool. But again, and those stories are gone, and the new guys are just fumbling. Yeah, Doug Stanhope, to be fair, Doug Stanhope's one of those comedians where you're like, dude, he's fucking funny. But at the same time, it's like, I kind of wish you weren't funny and you got to live a long and healthy life, because I know he's not surviving. He's going to be one of those guys that dies in his mid-60s. But these stories, and they're not coming back. And it's just there for the taking. Hell, Matt Long. You watch him. He's got just his one sketch on how woke and racist people. This is like a 5-6-year-old sketch he did on YouTube. 100 million views. And all he did was he put his buddy shirt on, said woke, and he put one on, said racist. And then he just found out they all had the exact same opinions on everything, but for different reasons. Oh, you're talking about the Richard Pryor movies. That's a different Richard Pryor. I'm talking the comedian Richard Pryor. But I'm mostly talking about stories. Do you see what I mean? And there's that. And like on the old Ryan channel, it's all about movies doing the same thing, right? They're never coming back. It's mostly because of the Tinder dating scenes never coming back. All this stuff is never coming back. Everything is being destroyed at an extremely rapid pace. You'd think that accelerationists would be over the moon, but now they're like, no, we need to get started. It's like, my brother in Christ. You have been going balls to the wall for the last 15 years on everything and anything with accelerationism. Don't even. Comedy wasn't funny anymore. The funny stuff is gone. It's not coming back. People are just like, I watched some shit on TV. There are books out there. There are podcasts out there where somebody just says, hey, I watched Joe Rogan and here's my opinion on it for 2 hours. I'm going, what in the fuck? I'm in the wrong business. I need to be a reaction channel. I need to sit here. There's this one I follow. It's just, and this is like the meta point. I'm not trying to do exactly what I said I wasn't doing. It doesn't really matter what the name of his channel is, but he does this thing where he does, you know, when you're authoritative, if you're authoritative on YouTube, you have to do one of two things. You have to either speak slowly with your hands, quietly, or you need a British accent. Anyways, he has a bookshelf with a bunch of books behind him. Not like this messy. This is the bookshelf of somebody who reads. See how shit's all over the place? And like that's like a bunch of mine. I'm technically supposed to send like all these to Mish. That's for Jack. That's for Kirsten. That's for Clary. And I think I need to give that one to John. I just haven't done it yet. Oh, so yeah, he will see what's the most popular video today. And then he puts it on this little picture-in-picture thing right here. And he sits here and he does this. I don't know how to describe it. It's where you look like this. But, and you say it's not because you're on a podcast. But I'm like talking to this person over here. But this person doesn't fucking exist. There is nobody there. There is a button that turns off the fire alarm. And I'm staring at it right now like it's my goddamn co-host. There's this format. And I fucking hate it because it feels so disingenuous. Because you're not even, because at least with this, you can have the kayfabe, the pro wrestling. Like, I am talking to you. And you know I'm not talking to you. You know I'm just talking into a camera. I know I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking to a camera. But there's at least that plausible deniability. You know? But if I'm like over like this, it's like the cucking version of that. It's like the Lincoln chair. It's, oh, by the way, I'm making up a fictional conversation with somebody who doesn't exist, and you get to be the wallflower that watches it. It's just that extra degree of separation, and it drives me fucking nuts. And I can't articulate it because nobody will know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm like, do you understand how dystopic that is? Like, what do you mean? Like, at least this way. 1984, talking into the camera, parasocial relationships. That's bad enough. You know, that's bad enough. But now it's this one, where you're no longer even the parasocial relationship I'm having. I'm having a parasocial relationship with invisible podcast co-host over here, and you don't even get to be a part of it. You get to sit in the Lincoln chair, and you get to watch me have a parasocial relationship with somebody that doesn't even exist. Fucking wild. Heard my name in a book. Yeah, I've got them. I just really hate dealing with the government right now, and so, like, the post office is not on my list of things to do. I should, though, now. I gotta take a quick break, by the way, because I gotta do some super chats. I realized I've missed 3 now. Yeah. So, Cry Rivi, $5 1 cent super chat. My contribution to the anti-Indian people pooping on the beach fund. Understood, sir. Understood. Where did I put that one? I think it's this one.
Yes, there are Indian families that dig holes and put tents and poop. They do it on the beach now, and they did it off my backyard.
Oh, hoo boy!
There was like 3 different families of maybe 25, 30 people that came for barbecues. They would set up right on the fence of my backyard. I seen them digging the hole, and I seen them put the tent. When they left, there was poop. That happened 3 separate times. I've had to yell at people for shitting on the borderline property line of my backyard. And yes, it was Indian families. So that's not false. You can check my town's page where they say there are Indian...
Oops, I paused. I hit the space bar with the coffee cup. My bad. Long story short, they arrest her for being racist. Oh, Canada. Free gender, $5 3 cent super chat. With AI, will Meetup OnlyFans be the only way to make money? Dude. It's called being a prostitute. Fuck. You know, okay. Side note, thing made me laugh the hardest. Uber come out with a new service. They're sitting there giving their little TED talk and their new product demo. They're like, we know people love Uber, but sometimes people have very specific destinations they get to on regular schedules. Here's what we're proposing. They call it like Uber Rideshare. You can show up to a specific position at a specific time and get a ride with a bunch of other people and your friends all to a specific destination. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And then I looked at that and I'm like, dude, they just invented the bus. What the fuck? And there's this one tweet. I can't remember who did it. I can't remember what it was about. It was just progressives will deconstruct and work very hard for 2 years to rebuild something that already existed or to reinvent something. It was like somebody eventually... I went through poly, and they do like their poly relationships, and they do some goofy shit, and this rule, and this rule, and this rule, and now it's a way of us to enjoy the poly lifestyle between the two. It's like, dude, you just invented monogamy. What the fuck are you doing? Yeah, it just made me laugh. And so when I see you here talking about the Meetup OnlyFans, yeah, because prostitution's low class, so we're gonna do OnlyFans because now I'm a model. But then AI takes your modeling career where, so it's like OnlyFans with Meetup, Uber Meetup, and then when they meet you, they'll have sex with you. It's like, wow. Sounds a lot like prostitution. It's like, no. There's like 8 levels of separation. It's kind of like you sitting in the Lincoln chair of prostitution. And that's where everything is going right now. I actually should have written that book as opposed to the one I did. But I got more books in me. So yeah. Yeah, the idea of like everybody having that 3rd degree of separation. They literally call the book The Lincoln Chair. Talk to this guy on the podcast that doesn't exist. You can be over here listening to me. I'll talk to an OnlyFans AI girl on here. Or no, I'll talk to like a Tinder date. It's AI with my AI. They can suggest a meetup. She ghosts me. It's like at what point in that one was there even an interaction? Like, was there at any point where you interacted with the girl on any level at all? Or did AI just decide to swipe you on the algorithm? The OnlyFans girl that gets you on there just to meet up, to have sex, and you're just like, oh. Does anybody want to do anything anymore? Or are we just happy to like be like a Temu Wally? Remember Wally? Everybody was fat on their scooters watching TV, drinking Slurpees. But instead of being in the Wally world, we're just watching Wally on TV until the end of time because we can't even live it. You know, the 2025 version of Pretty Woman would be depressing. That's Bonnie Blue, essentially. Convince me Google Pay for streaming services isn't just a more expensive cable package. Well, I noticed that streaming has gone that route, which is a very strange thing. Somebody did the math, and if you subscribe to all the different streaming services, you're essentially paying a little, like $20, $30, $40 more than you would for the full meal deal cable package. Which is interesting. To be fair, I just keep it simple. I mean, I write off a lot of it for work because I'm like, I need it for the Orion channel, so that's good. But yeah, the Google one, YouTube, turns out, and maybe it's because I'm aging myself here, but I like the idea of renting movies too. So with YouTube, I mean, most of the time the stuff's not on streaming anyway, the stuff that I want to watch, but it's always there on YouTube for like $5. I'm like, done. $5 on a Friday. Why would you spend money for that? It's like, why would I not? $5 is the price of like an average coffee in Canada. I can put down the coffee so I can watch Die Hard again. Yeah, so it's kind of like Blockbuster. It's the same as Blockbuster, but it's got a Lincoln chair. So instead of me going into Blockbuster, looking at the thing, I literally just swipe on my phone to think of what movie I would want to watch or think about it, then pull it up on the YouTube and then pull it in there. And they have everything. Honestly, this new CEO, I really wish they fire him like pronto, because YouTube has such potential to be like a great platform. First off, their movie rental thing, if they would just play that up properly and stop leaning into like streaming and YouTube Red, it'd be awesome. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Everybody else gives you everything and this could be for free. Yeah, I could, but I don't want free. I'm not cheap. I just want convenience. And that's what most people are like. Like when you're a poor college student, yeah, you'll pirate everything. Fuck it. I'm not going to pay $3 for this book. I'm going to get it on my own. But when you get a little older, your time starts to matter more. Like I'm not going to sit here and spend 20 minutes pirating a movie, 10 minutes to set up the stream from the computer to the television, just to go watch that when I can just pay $5 and stream it immediately, or watch it immediately, or even buy it. Why would I not do that? Your time costs money. Yeah, but it's not that hard. You just have to. It's like the fact you have to say you just have to. That's what I mean. And I'm amazed how bad people are understanding this. I really am. We need to have like a Rory Sutherland book in elementary school for people just to learn how to think more psychologically. What is he talking about? Well, this is a good example for the books. I have invested myself into self-authorship Twitter and by extension Reddit. And I have never been angrier in my life. You thought the red pill was bad? With the guys who like, I've read 8 Rational Male books. What's a girl? I don't know. I don't fucking know. They're all whores. It's like you came here to get laid. You came here because you weren't getting laid. And the one thing you're doing is finding any way you can to not get laid. Is that your plan? You go, no, fuck you. All right. That is not a red pill thing. That is not a manosphere thing. That is not an incel thing. That is not a conservative Trump MAGA thing. That is everything. You can go into everything, anywhere, any niche, on any topic with any amount of people whatsoever. And it is all a bunch of people in the Lincoln chair of that niche trying their damnedest to fuck up and fail and never do the thing that they're there for. I bet you right now, you go into some car enthusiast forum and you'll find a bunch of people that can't drive. I guarantee it. Free gender. $5.43 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. If I pay for it, it's illegal. But if there is a website to meet her and take pictures, that's called investing in entrepreneurship. Yeah, we really do. We really do build our world on plausible deniability and emotional distance, don't we? But I mean, kill one person, it's crime. Kill a billion people, it's statistics. I don't know what to tell you. We're a funky bunch, us human beings. Anyways, so yeah, for the authorship, and I'm gonna do some talk about Jake Long after this, and then we're gonna move over. Actually, fuck, we don't have time for that. The gist of it is, somebody wanted to do a 9-book series, and they wanted to finish them all before they released the first one because they got mad that George R.R. Martin did. And I was like, that's stupid. You're gonna waste. It's like 3 to 6 months per book. You're going to waste like 4 years of your life on this. And to which they're like, I don't like your tone. You're an asshole. And they blocked me. Like, fair enough. So anyways, we got a couple more minutes here before we move over to the other channel. I'm going to talk about Jake Long Softbone. I'm hyped. I think you're going to like it. I think if you're into this kind of thing, and that's really my key here, is I don't want anybody to buy it if they're not interested in it. So I want to be very clear on the kind of book it is. It's pulpy. It's short. It's snappy. It has a lot of what I talk about in action movies. Like I was talking recently about The Predator. I'll be talking about in Highlander, I Come in Peace. Where not every character needs a character arc because the setting itself can be a character as well. Having said that, I have to be me. And so I like the idea of all the characters having arcs. I may try. And there was... Okay, I got to take a step back. In a book, there is a simple thing. You tell a story about people doing A, B, C, and D, right? That's one layer. There are character arcs where a character needs something, they want something, they get what they want, and they either find out what they need and achieve that, or have a fatal flaw and fail at what they need, and then, suffer the consequences. You layer that on top. So you have an A, B, C, D story mixed with a character arc. Good character arc, tragic character arc. Then on top of that, you usually have a moral message. So for Jake Long Softbone, what I have as the moral message in there is the different types of family creation. Like, how do people in a technologically dystopic hellhole form families? And it's a very abstract way of looking at it. It's mostly the characters. One of the characters is like the equivalent of a divorced dad. Although it wasn't that he was divorced, it's that Amazon did a hostile takeover of Google, started murdering everybody there to save some money on the top line. So he took his group out and they formed like a mercenary group, but he lost his wife and kids. Essentially a divorce. The other character, he's a Japanese character, and the Chinese genocided Neo-Tokyo in this cyberpunk world. So he's like one of the few ones remaining, and so he wants a harem. He wants to use technology to be able to start pumping out thousands of kids with genetic changes so they don't have flipper babies and then repopulate. So he's an incel with delusions of wanting to be the new Genghis Khan. And then the one femme fatale in there whose name is Fatale, which is Slavic. She's the single mom. The technology was made by extracting her, and I'm not really spoiling anything, it's more just premise stuff, by extracting her eggs, and they needed the stem cells from those in order to make the technology work. They were basically farming chicks for eggs to make a vaccination pill that is programmable. So she's a single mom. She's at the wall. She needs her eggs back. Like, it's literally the empty egg carton baby rabies chick, the single mom one. And then there's the main character who's technically just the single guy, although officially he's widowed in the story, but he was never really a dad anyway. So it's more like the sexless loser who learns to be okay with things, and they kind of go through. So then you got that. Then you got that moral question. How do people form families in dystopic technological hellholes? You add that, then you have the character arcs, then you have the story plot beats, A to B to C, D. Now you have 3 layers inside of the simple story. And a simple story now becomes a complex story. Not because it's complex, but because it's layered. And that's the approach I think I'm taking to things. I like the idea of using symbology, like the last book, obviously, with the blankets, the Seamaster, everything I put in there was for a reason. It's either a symbol to align the concepts, like, yeah, he's constantly checking his watch for time. Aren't you having sex? Like, yeah, but I got 15 minutes and I can go shave. It's like, dude, focus. And then at the end, doesn't check his watch. Every time he has a good experience with women, he never checks his watch. And it's something you probably don't pick up on and you probably didn't even think of until I told you it. And so I thought, oh, the same thing here. Free gender, $2. I just found your Black Label Logic. I miss him. Yeah. I mean, he's doing well for himself. Don't get me wrong. Carl's pulling a couple $100,000 a year doing his thing. Definitely enjoying all that Europe has to offer right now. So good for him. The pandemic did him really good. He did well for himself on there. But good for him. I wish you guys were all like that. I wish you all left a massive fortune somewhere. It'd be cool. Yeah, so there's that. And then symbology. So what do I have for symbols in this one? At one point there is, like, the technology is always a symbol. I find for the newer, shinier, and more feminized the technology is, the more it gets in the way and the more that the characters have to work for the technology as opposed to the technology working for them. Like I've used the example before, the bathroom, you have to wait for an ad to play before it opens the door and lets you use the toilet. The shower has like, oh, to save the environment, we're going to cut off your water supply now and stuff like that. Or Xanax makes a sugar-free drink, lemon flavored, chemical, like all these things are. And then in that world, there's all downers. There's all downers and obfuscation and sales pitches. And then you get to the underground world. I call it New Kowloon, which is like a VLAN city. And in there, everything is about uppers. It's always about cigarettes or nicotine or caffeine or speed and stuff like that. And it's everything that makes you up and more productive. And all the tech is like at the same time clunkier and worse, but also better. So I'll give you the one more example. They call them oculars, just eye implants. Guys always get eye implants because why wouldn't you, right? Most people just like, why wouldn't you? It's like plastic surgery. Get your tits done. You're 18. The Amazon ones, they're kind of slow. They have to connect to everything else. If you're in a space that doesn't have lighting that's perfectly designed to take advantage of them, they have a hard time adjusting to it. So if you're in a room that's got high chiaroscuro or like lights and shadows, you're going to end up being either blind or in pitch black while you try to adjust. And that's like Amazon tech. And I made Amazon the quintessential feminine tech. And then the idea of Samsung being the other mega corporation. And they have more masculine stuff. It's old. It doesn't work. It's technically like a CRT. So there's like a cathode ray tube inside your eye spraying. Sure, the resolution's not as good. Yeah, the refresh rate's not as good, but it misses all of the lag and all of the latency and all of the ads and and it's whip snap or whip quick. So it actually is slower but quicker at the same time. And then the characters eventually go through, and then the main character, as he kind of learns to stop being so longhoused and feminized and into becoming a man with freedom, he actually loses some of his tech and gets it replaced with the other tech. And that's the idea of like a physical transformation. And so then you got the symbology. So you have your plot beats, your story you want to tell, you have your character arcs, you have the moral message you want to tell, and then you got the symbology and the symbols that you put all throughout of it. It's like 4 or 5 layers onto a book. And I think that's what I've always enjoyed about the books that I can actually get through. And it's what I aspire to. And I think you guys are going to really love this one. Like, it's just from the humor of it alone, or sometimes the absurdity of things. It's not even that it's funny. You're like, Jesus. Like the one character, she's pregnant, but in order to get pregnant, because... And again, I take everything that's really shitty about 2020, and I'm just like, just add 10% to it. I joke that it was the policing of UK, the immigration policies of Canada, and the political punditry of America, and you mix them all together, and it's like the worst of everything. So people get to pick their gender as a kid. That's the idea. It's like the illusion of freedom. When you're a baby, you're not allowed to choose your gender. That's against the law. So you have to wait until the kid's like 6, and they get to pick which they want. The problem is you have to put them on hormone blockers as a baby. And so the effect that has is all the guys end up very feminine looking, and all the girls look very masculine looking. All the girls in the analog, as they call it, they have, or in the wireless, sorry. They have like really shitty tits. They have big mannish hands, very butch. Masculine women and feminized men. Smooth skin. As opposed to, and then their idea is that's freedom. And they kind of get weirded out. Like, oh, these, the cowboys, the people from New Kowloon, they don't get to pick their gender? Oh, what kind of freedom is that? He goes, it's what you get. You do what you do. And it's the idea of like freedom versus not freedom. And I always thought that was neat. And of course, one of the effects of that's like, what effect would that have? Well, people can't get pregnant. So every pregnancy has to be an IVF. But then every woman's also neurotic and being enabled by the state as like a force amplifier. So they have to basically be sanitized and segregated from their husbands. So husbands can't have sex with their wives, can't touch them during pregnancy. They make special clothing they have to wear just so there's a layer of separation. And I just wanted like, because that was the one thing I've always loved Cyberpunk. The one thing I always hated was like they make it high tech, low life, but then, oh, this stuff's so cool. It's like, no, I don't want cool. I want it to fucking suck. The cool stuff is the people actively engaged with anything but the current Cyberpunk. Yeah. Anyways, so follow along. I'm on the marketing side of things now because I've handed it off to Nick. He's going to do the edits. I'll probably have to do a little bit of rewriting, not a huge amount. And no, it's not a horror story. It's more, if I had to describe it in that Kurt Vonnegut, there's only 6 stories to tell, I'd have to say it's Cinderella. Yeah, I'd call it Cinderella. So it's like a Cinderella story. It's a guy learning to be free. That's the official, like that first level narrative. It's a man who's learning what it means to have freedom and the consequences of it. Ultimately. Definitely a lot of satire. Definitely a lot of cultural and political commentary. Definitely a lot of humor. There'll be some red pill stuff in there. When you look, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But it's the same thing as Dog Walker, where I don't want it to be, oh, if I haven't read Rational Male, I don't know what the fuck that means. I need it to be resonating with an average person. So we'll see. Anyways, Free Gender, $10 super chat. I don't want to get the Anatomy of Storytelling book because when I looked up his bio, unlike you, the man has written nothing, but how he managed to write some of the best book on story writing. Didn't you ever see the joke on that, Free Gender? Thank you for the $10 super chat, by the way. There was a joke on this where the author from The Godfather, Puzo, he didn't know how to write. He just wrote The Godfather, and it ended up selling. He's like, oh, well, now that I'm a good author, I should probably learn to be a better storyteller. And so he picked up the Anatomy of Storytelling, and he's like, oh, the first advice I got was be more like Puzo. It's not bad. Like I said, the Anatomy of Storytelling book, it's good. I like it, and I think you do want to get it with an asterisk. I think if you get that book and understand the dynamics of storytelling or the anatomy of storytelling and you treat it like a rule book, you're probably going to fuck it up. Nick was like very helpful with me on this one because I was kind of looking at things like that. Okay, I need a character web. I need this. I need the main moral message. And he goes, hey, you don't have to. And then, well, I need this kind of thing and this scene here. And it's like, yeah, well, that would be more of a movie. You can't do a movie better than a movie can. So lean into what books are good at. Two very helpful things. So I think it's a good thing to get in the sense that it's good to know the rules, to know when to break them. Because you technically don't have to write a story. My Orion channel is full of that. We're going to move over there in like a couple minutes too, by the way. You don't have to write a story with a character arc. Ghostbusters, for example, the most famous example of a movie that has 0 character arcs in it. Would you consider Ghostbusters a bad movie? Absolutely not. It's a great movie. It's a great story. It's kind of like that. Hero with 7 faces. I have no idea. Anyways, when I was a kid, I thought Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was science fiction. Now I realize it's satire on life in the 80s. Yeah. That's why Adams was really good at science fiction, because he realized science fiction is not a genre, it's a setting. Science fiction is a method for you to talk about stories, taboo stories of today, wrapped in tomorrow. And that, again, you get to sit in the Lincoln chair, you get to watch this other stuff. That's why Soylent Green was in the 60s, where they were worried about population explosions. And so they did a science fiction story about that. And then Kingdom of Men, where nobody was able to have kids anymore. And that was about the population decline. They always talk about the lessons of the day wrapped up in tomorrow. Anyways, speaking of tomorrow, I'm going to go over to the other channel. We're going to talk on Ryan. And we're going to bring up Highlander too, because I've got a bone to pick. I am so angry at the internet. They have made this out to be the worst movie ever. And I'm like, fuck you guys. You have no idea. This is probably the greatest movie, and it could fix the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. Hey, what's up? Anyways, it's going to take you there directly. I'm looking for an old episode of Digital... Yeah. All right. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in 2 minutes. Gonna have a quick pee break and then get the hell out of here.
Well, welcome to the neighborhood. Yeah, welcome to the neighborhood. And she said she'd love that. Why don't you come out? I'll give you a tour of the house. Let me show you. I'll give you a nice movie. Little behind the scenes footage for everybody there.
79T, 2458, Learning Corp, Little Red Riding Hood, take 1.